Welcome to the April 3rd, 2012 meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority. May we have a roll call, please?
Authority members: Friedman, Manukian,
Here.
Mincy,
Here.
Najarian,
Here.
Razian,
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Chair Quintero.
Here. May we have your report?
The agenda for the April 3rd, 2012 regular meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority was posted on Thursday, March 29, 2012 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
What's next?
Next is approval of minutes.
I'll move the approval. I will mention that Mr. Manukian was absent on the 27th of March.
Thank you. I will abstain on the 27th.
Okay.
Or the 27th.
With that abstention, the minutes stand approved as submitted.
Was there a second for that motion?
Second.
Thank you.
Next, please.
Next item is oral communication. Cards were submitted. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the Housing Authority may question or respond to a speaker, but there will be no debate or decision on the matter. May be referred to staff through the Executive Director for investigation and report.
Okay, I have two cards. First card is Richard Espiritu.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the Housing Authority and staff. I am Richard Espiritu. Several weeks ago, when I presented the article from the Department of Justice, Mr. Quintero, you had made a comment that only applied to the developers. Should have read page 6 of that report, where the Housing Authority in Massachusetts was also cited. And there was another one in St. John, Indiana, where the zoning policies were also taken in consideration. On page 32 of the Fair Housing Impediment Act analysis, it states that 71% of the housing in Glendale was done before 1978. It's approximately 54,000, or two-thirds of the houses here in Glendale. I have a report that I will give to the city manager, and if any member of the Housing Authority would be interested, you can make sure they have copies. This was done by an organization that Mr. Najarian and I had a discussion about a while back. This is from the CDC. Center for Disease Control. They have come out with the finding about blood levels in children. 10 parts per million causes cardiovascular, endocrine, and immune problems. They've also found something else very interesting. They have created brain dominion, attention-related behaviors, and academic reduction. And on this report from the Fair Housing Analysis, on the last it talks about lead paint. I had a talk with Mr. Sam Ingalls where he stated that there is no agency in the city of Glendale that reviews or checks for lead-based paint. Now, either this report or whoever gave this information to the Fair Housing Authority was misleading, or Mr. Ingalls told me something that was wrong. There's one question that I'd like to ask each and every one of the members of the Housing Authority and staff. If we know, according to the Center for Disease Control, that lead causes problems in the cardiovascular, immune, and endocrine systems, and we also know that it's causing problems with their education. My question to each and every one of the members of the Housing Authority and staff is this: what is a child's life worth? Do we want to spend some money, or would we rather have these kids grow up, wind up in jail, or become a burden to our society later on? I'm talking about severe physical disabilities. What is a child worth? I hope somebody has the ability to answer that question. And Mr. Ochoa, I'm going to give you these reports, and if any members of the Housing Authority would like to see the report from the Center for Disease Control, and by the way, they also have oral comments in the back that are very well documented. And one of the persons who spoke out against this program happens to be a company that is being sued by the state of California and various entities for lead poisoning.
Okay, next is Herbert Milano.
Members of the Housing Authority and staff, my name is Herbert Milano. I cannot recall how many years I have been coming before the Housing Authority to encourage two things. One, a continual and periodic quality of life indicators report. And the second one is a report similar to that one made back in 2001 concerning the state of youth in Glendale. I mentioned in the past that it's probably one of the most comprehensive studies done on youth, and it covered everything from health, obesity, access to recreation, issues concerning gangs, graduation rates, all of that. I believe that of all of the reports that I have seen having to do with the quality of life, especially reports that addresses the deficiencies, that report was probably one of the best that I've seen. Now that we have a new city manager, perhaps you'll follow in the steps of Mr. Starbird, since he did that on his second year. Hopefully, we'll get an opportunity to do that kind of review, so that then this coming city council can look at perhaps some steps to take in order to correct the deficiencies. The quality of life indicators from 2009 gave us a glimpse of some of the problems with youth. And among them was an increase in obesity and an increase in the use of narcotics. And I believe that a city that is relatively wealthy as this one could start addressing some of those issues and actually work more on the prevention side of things and address it comprehensively and holistically to see what things the city can do and measure on performance to see if we're moving along the right direction. Usually around this time of the year, the Healthy Cities Coalition meets and provide a report. Those reports are generally funded by the Glendale Adventist Medical Center. I think that if there is a report this year, that perhaps it could be brought on to the Housing Authority, since I don't know any other venue that I can bring that information to, so that we can start really assessing the state of youth in Glendale overall, even though that report is a lot more comprehensive. But I think we need to have a periodic review of how we're doing about it. We spend a significant amount of money on police, more than twice as much as than we did just 10 years ago. But I was wondering what kind of results we're actually having with regard to really creating the type of conditions that allow children to have their best opportunities for good health, recreation, and support educationally. Thank you very much.
Okay, what's next?
Next item on the business agenda at 6A is the city attorney regarding cancellation of April 24th, 2012 Housing Authority meeting due to the Week of Remembrance events and commemoration of the Armenian Genocide. 6A1 is a motion canceling meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so April 24th, we will be actually convening at the Alex Theater, is it?
Yes, Alex Theater.
Tuesday for the event, and then there's a number of other events, Bands in Humanity Demand, throughout the week.
Chair Quintero, would
please.
you roll call? Thank you. Authority members: Friedman, Manukian,
Yes.
Mincy,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Parazian,
Yes.
Weaver.
Aye.
Chair Quintero.
Yes. Next, please.
Authority member staff comments.
I hear none.
Move we adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Second.
Thank you.